The galaxy had long whispered rumors of a mysterious species operating in the shadows, but no one had imagined the truth. Humans, once dismissed as primitive and weak, had quietly grown into a civilization unmatched in strategy, technology, and resilience. Now the time had come to reveal the fruits of centuries of preparation. Admiral Lyra Grant stood on the bridge of the flagship Aurora's Dawn, her gaze fixed on the distant systems where human colonies had quietly thrived for decades. Each world was self-sufficient, armed with advanced defenses and capable of supporting entire fleets. The hidden empire humanity had forged in secret was now complete in both strength and vision. "Ilara," Lieutenant Rena Torres said, her voice filled with awe. "The Council's fleets are moving into position near the border systems. They're responding to reports, but they still don't know it's us." Lyra nodded. "Let them come. Let them see a glimpse of what humans can do. Our empire does not rise through fear alone. It rises through undeniable capability and precision. Today, the galaxy will awaken to a new reality." The first demonstration of humanity's power occurred in a disputed system near the border of 3 major alien civilizations. Years of preparation had ensured the humans could intervene with perfect efficiency. Ships materialized from cloaking arrays, positioning themselves to protect vulnerable planets while remaining nearly invisible to alien sensors. From orbit, humans coordinated the defense of settlements caught in the conflict. Alien fleets fired blindly, unaware that their attacks were anticipated, countered, and neutralized. Humanity acted not to conquer but to preserve life and maintain balance. Every maneuver was executed with unmatched precision, and by the time the alien civilizations realized what had occurred, the human fleet had vanished, leaving only a stable system in its wake. The whispers became widespread. Stories circulated of a species capable of saving worlds without ever being seen, a species that combined intelligence, ingenuity, and courage in ways older civilizations could not comprehend. Some civilizations dismissed the stories as legend. Others grew wary, realizing that underestimation could be fatal. Back on Earth, the Forge Council monitored these events with satisfaction. Scientists, strategists, and engineers had perfected systems for long-range communication, fleet coordination, and rapid deployment. Colonists had proven their ability to thrive independently, and young cadets had matured into leaders capable of managing entire missions with skill and foresight. Humanity's empire was no longer hidden. It was emerging, and it would demand recognition. Admiral Lyra convened her senior officers for a council of strategy aboard Aurora's Dawn. "The galaxy has begun to take notice," she said. "They still do not know the full extent of our power. That is our advantage. We will continue to act decisively but subtly, demonstrating our capabilities without unnecessary conflict. Our empire is not built on fear alone. It is built on unity, intelligence, and the ability to endure where others fail." Lieutenant Torres leaned forward. "Do we risk revealing ourselves fully? Some council members may react with aggression once they realize the truth." Lyra considered this carefully. "They will learn soon enough. By the time they act, humanity will be ready. We do not strike first out of anger. We reveal ourselves out of purpose. We will demonstrate strength and vision. The galaxy will not be able to ignore us." Meanwhile, human colonies across the galaxy began to communicate openly with each other, creating a network of trade, research, and defense. Each colony was a testament to human adaptability and resilience, a beacon of what their species could achieve. They shared technology, cultural knowledge, and strategic insights. Their unity became their greatest strength, a force the galaxy had never seen before. A young engineer named Sarah supervised a colony's energy systems on a distant world. "It's amazing," she said, watching the network of communication lights flicker across the planet. "All these systems, all these colonies working together. We've created something no one else could even imagine." Her mentor smiled. "And that is just the beginning, Sarah. The galaxy will soon understand that humans are not just surviving among the stars. We are mastering them." As humanity's presence became more apparent, alien civilizations began to react. Some sought diplomacy, offering tentative alliances with humans they had previously ignored. Others reacted with fear, moving fleets in preparation for potential conflict. Every reaction confirmed the growing influence of humanity's empire. The first formal contact occurred when an ambassador from a distant civilization arrived at a neutral system, seeking dialogue. Humans met the envoy not with hostility, but with confidence and clarity. Admiral Lyra personally oversaw the negotiations. "You have underestimated us for too long," she said. "Humanity is not primitive. We have grown, prepared, and endured. The galaxy may have rejected us once, but that rejection forged strength. Today we are here to establish balance, cooperation, and mutual respect." The ambassador's eyes widened in shock. The species had dismissed humans as unworthy, but now they saw a civilization capable of defending worlds, influencing outcomes, and leading with intelligence. It was a revelation few could comprehend. At the same time, other civilizations attempted to challenge humanity, testing the limits of their new fleets. Every challenge was met with precision and ingenuity. Humans adapted to unexpected attacks, outmaneuvered larger fleets, and protected civilians with efficiency no alien species could match. These demonstrations of capability were not acts of war, they were lessons, proof that humanity could not be ignored. On Earth, the Forge Council celebrated quietly, but did not rest. Plans for further expansion, diplomacy, and strategic positioning continued. Humanity's empire was not built overnight. It was the result of decades of preparation, discipline, and foresight. The galaxy had assumed humans were weak, but it was only because they had never truly observed them. Admiral Lyra stood once more on the observation deck of the flagship, watching the stars stretch endlessly into the distance. "We have risen from rejection," she said quietly. "We have turned scorn into strength, doubt into ambition, and underestimation into opportunity. The galaxy will never forget humanity again." Lieutenant Torres joined her, gazing at the same stars. "Do you think they'll accept us now?" Lyra smiled faintly. "Acceptance is not required. Recognition is inevitable. They will see what we are and they will adjust. The galaxy may fear us, respect us, or both, but it will not ignore us. That is our empire, undeniable, prepared, and capable." As the years passed, humanity's influence spread further. Colonies became centers of culture, science, and trade. Fleets patrolled distant systems not to conquer but to protect. Diplomatic channels opened between humans and civilizations that had once rejected them. Every action demonstrated that humans were not just survivors, they were leaders capable of shaping the galaxy's future. Stories of human ingenuity spread across star systems, tales of fleets appearing to prevent disasters, colonies thriving in impossible conditions, and young cadets demonstrating unmatched courage, became legend. Some species marveled at humanity's creativity. Others grew cautious, realizing the species they had once dismissed had become an unpredictable and powerful force. The hidden empire humanity had forged in secret was no longer hidden. It was a reality the galaxy had to confront, understand, and respect. Humans had not conquered through fear. They had risen through preparation, intelligence, and unity. And in doing so, they had reshaped the perception of what it meant to be human among the stars. Lyra reflected on the journey that had brought them here. The Council's rejection had been painful, but it had been the catalyst for growth. Every insult, every act of scorn had been transformed into motivation. Humanity had endured, adapted, and risen. They had proven that rejection could forge not weakness but power. "You have done well," she said to her officers and cadets. "You have turned a species once scorned into an empire the galaxy cannot ignore. Remember this. Our strength is not just in technology or fleets. It is in our unity, our adaptability, and our resolve. We rise because we are human, and that is our greatest advantage." The galaxy at last understood. Humans were no longer the species to be mocked or dismissed. They were a force of intellect, courage, and resilience. A species capable of forging its destiny in the stars, shaping the future, and standing tall among civilizations older and more advanced. And so, humanity's empire stretched across the stars, not born of vengeance but of vision. They had been rejected, underestimated, and scorned. Yet from that rejection they had built something extraordinary, a civilization capable of defending, innovating, and leading. The stars themselves bore witness to the rise of humanity, a species that had transformed scorn into strength, rejection into unity, and doubt into unstoppable power. Admiral Lyra Grant gazed at the galaxy, a sense of accomplishment and purpose filling her heart. Humanity had proven what it truly meant to endure, to adapt, and to rise. The galaxy had learned a lesson it would never forget. Humans, once rejected, had become a civilization beyond imagination, a terrifyingly capable empire, forged in secrecy and now revealed in brilliance. The era of human influence had begun. Captain Lyra Drayton sat in the command chair of the starward horizon, her eyes scanning the endless expanse of stars before the ship. The soft hum of the engines filled the bridge, mingling with the occasional beep of navigation systems. Space was quiet but not peaceful. It had a way of reminding humans of how small they truly were, yet how much they could achieve when they worked together. "Captain?" Lieutenant Ryn called, his voice steady but tinged with curiosity. "We've picked up a distress signal. It's coming from Lyra 9, planet Virelia." Alara leaned forward, her eyes narrowing. "Distress signal?" she asked. "Are they human?" Ryn shook his head. "No, ma'am. The transmission is alien. The language is complex, but our translators are starting to make sense of it. They're begging for help." Alara felt a familiar mix of caution and curiosity. Humans often approached trouble that no one else dared. It was a trait that had kept them alive in countless impossible situations. "Put it through to the bridge," she ordered. The screen flickered and an image appeared. It was a Virelian, a tall, thin creature with shimmering blue skin and eyes that reflected light like crystals. Its movements were fluid, almost dance-like, but its expression was filled with fear. "Please," the Virelian said in halting galactic basic. "Help us. Something awakens. We cannot stop it. Cities fall. Our people die. You humans can save us." Ilara's brow furrowed. Humans were not known as saviors. Yet their reputation for courage, ingenuity, and resilience had spread across many star systems. "Can you give us details?" she asked. The Virelian's voice shook. "It sleeps. Beneath the surface, older than the stars. The galaxy tried to forget it. Now it stirs. It is coming." Even Ryn looked unsettled. "Older than the stars, Captain, that's..." "A tall tale." Alara held up a hand. "Tall tale or not, people are asking for our help. We don't know what we'll face, but humans have a way of finding solutions where others see only doom." She turned to the navigator. "Plot a course to Virelia. Fastest approach." As the crew prepared for the journey, the ship left the familiar trails of the Lyra 9 star system behind. Outside, the stars blurred into streaks of white and gold as the starward horizon entered faster than light travel. Inside, the bridge was quiet, each crew member lost in thought. Alara broke the silence. "I want every sensor active. Scan the planet before we arrive. I don't want surprises." The communications officer, a young woman named Lyra Vale, nodded. "Aye, Captain." Signal strength is low, but the planet shows signs of major structural damage. Almost as if entire cities have collapsed. Alara's stomach tightened. Damage this severe doesn't happen overnight. Whatever they're dealing with, it's serious. Hours passed, and finally the planet came into view. Virelia was a strange world, larger than Earth, with sprawling continents and oceans that glimmered like liquid silver under the twin suns. Yet what immediately caught their attention was the devastation. Cities once magnificent now lay in ruins, towers broken, bridges collapsed, and large craters pockmarked the surface. Smoke rose from several areas, fading into the thin atmosphere. "We need to land near the main city," Alara said, her voice calm but firm. "Ryn, take the lead. Make sure the landing area is stable." The starward horizon descended slowly, its engines pushing the thin Virelian air aside. As the ship touched the ground, dust and small debris swirled around. The landing site was near the ruins of a central plaza, where statues of unknown figures stood broken and weathered. The Virelians were already there waiting, dozens of them fragile but dignified, their blue skin reflecting the sunlight. One of them, older and taller than the rest, stepped forward. "You have come. Humans," he said, his voice trembling. "I am Kalen. Thank you for listening." "We thought no one could hear us anymore." Alara offered a polite nod. "We heard you, Kalen. Tell me exactly what is happening here." Kalen gestured to the broken city. This began with tremors. Small at first, then stronger. Buildings fell without warning. The ground, it moved, it shifted. And beneath, something alive. We called it the Forgotten. Long ago, the galaxy sealed it away. We thought it was only a story, a warning. But it is real. And it wakes. Ryn exchanged a glance with Alara. "A living force beneath the planet? Captain, This doesn't make sense. Science doesn't explain it. Lyra considered this. Humans thrived where logic and science alone failed. Often, creativity, courage, and adaptability were the tools that turned the impossible into possible. We'll see it for ourselves, she said. First, we need to help your people survive whatever is coming next. The Varelians nodded, though fear still shone in their eyes. They led the humans through streets of ruined buildings, some still smoldering from past destruction. The humans' presence brought hope. Kalen explained how people hid in underground tunnels, how entire districts had been abandoned, and how their technology, advanced yet fragile, was failing against this unknown threat. Ilara's team set up temporary shelters and began assessing what resources they could use. Engineers and scientists from the starward horizon worked alongside Varelian experts, analyzing the ruins. Human intuition and problem-solving blended with alien technology in a way that impressed even the skeptical Varelians. During a reconnaissance mission, Lieutenant Rin discovered strange energy readings beneath one of the largest craters. The readings pulsed with a pattern that seemed almost deliberate. "Captain," he said, "these signals aren't random. They feel aware, like something is communicating, but I can't interpret it yet." Lyra frowned. "We proceed carefully. Keep your distance for now, but record everything. Humans often notice patterns that others overlook." As night fell, the twin moons of Virelia rose above the horizon, casting a soft blue glow across the shattered city. The humans stood watch while the Varelians rested. Around the campfires, Kalen shared legends of the Forgotten One, an entity so powerful that even the most advanced civilizations had feared it. It was sealed with machines older than memory, by beings who controlled galaxies. "We have tried to maintain the seals, but we are failing." Lyra listened intently. The humans had faced unknown threats before, aliens, cosmic phenomena, and rogue AI. But a creature older than civilization itself was a new challenge. "Legends are useful," she said slowly, "but reality is what we can touch and change. And humans have a way of acting when others freeze. That is what the galaxy will remember." Her words were simple, but to the Varelians they carried weight. Humans were different. Their courage, curiosity, and determination were legendary, and it gave the aliens a sliver of hope they hadn't felt in decades. As the humans settled in for the first night on Virelia, the ground beneath them hummed faintly. The stars above were silent witnesses, but beneath the surface something shifted. Lyra could feel it, a subtle vibration that resonated through the soles of her boots. She glanced at Rin. "Do you feel that?" she asked. He nodded. "Something is awake, or waking." Ilara's eyes hardened with resolve. "Then we prepare." "Humans never back down, Rin. If this galaxy forgot it, we will not. We will face it, together." And so, under alien moons and amidst the ruins of a once great civilization, humans stepped forward into the unknown. Their presence was more than aid. It was a spark of ingenuity, courage, and hope that the galaxy had not seen in centuries. Whatever lurked beneath the surface of Virelia, it would soon discover that humans were unlike any other species. The night grew darker, but the humans' resolve grew brighter. The first part of this story ends here, with the promise of a greater challenge, a mysterious awakening, and the undeniable truth that humanity's strength lay in their courage, their creativity, and their willingness to face the impossible. The morning on Virelia was strange, almost surreal. Twin suns hung low in the sky, casting golden and blue light over the ruined city. Humans and Varelians worked side by side, clearing debris, setting up temporary shelters, and trying to make sense of the chaos that had taken their world. Captain Lyra Drayton walked with Lieutenant Rin and a small team of engineers, scanning the city ruins. "Everywhere you look," Rin said, "there are signs of advanced technology, but it's old. Not ancient, but older than anything we've seen in this sector." Lyra nodded. "That's not unusual. Many worlds have relics from past civilizations. What worries me is the scale. Look at this city." She gestured at the towering remains of metal and crystal structures. Entire districts wiped out, but some sections seem untouched, almost preserved. That's not random. Their translator beeped, signaling an incoming message from Kalen. "Captain," he said, voice tense, "we have more information. There are structures beneath the city. Underground. Older than our records, older than anyone remembers. Our people tried to study them, but we cannot control what is there. It awakens when disturbed. Ilara's eyes narrowed. We need to see it for ourselves. Humans notice patterns where others see chaos. Take us to the entrance. Kalen led them through the ruins to a large plaza at the city's center. Broken pillars marked the edges and the ground was cracked with deep fissures. At the heart of the plaza, a circular hatch lay partially open, engraved with symbols that seemed to glow faintly in the sunlight. This is it, Kalen whispered. The entrance to the old structures. No Varelian has entered fully for centuries. We fear what is inside. Ilara stepped forward. We'll proceed carefully. Rin, sensors online. Everyone else stay alert. Humans are often the ones who can handle what others fear to touch. As the team descended, the air grew cooler, and the soft hum of the planet above faded. Inside, the walls were lined with smooth metal that seemed to pulse faintly as if alive. Strange inscriptions ran along the surfaces, their meaning lost to time. But when humans walked past them, the glow intensified. Rin's brow furrowed. Captain, it's reacting to us. The energy readings are off the charts. None of our instruments can fully explain it. Ilara studied the walls. It's as if the structure recognizes us. That's rare. Humans resonate in unexpected ways. Keep moving, but slowly. Observe everything. The deeper they went, the more the structures shifted. Sections of the corridor changed subtly, as if responding to their presence. Kalen whispered warnings about the Forgotten One, describing it as a force of unimaginable power that had once threatened the galaxy. The ancient civilizations, they sealed it away. Machines, energy, and laws of physics we do not fully understand, all to keep it contained. Ilara listened carefully. Legends often exaggerate, Kalen, but we cannot ignore your fears. Humans rely on observation, creativity, and teamwork. That is our advantage. The team entered a large chamber. Massive stone-like blocks hovered slightly above the floor, suspended by energy fields. Symbols shimmered in patterns across the walls. At the center, a deep circular pit opened into darkness. The air was thick with tension, and the Varelians hesitated at the edge. Rin adjusted his sensors. The readings from that pit, they are alive. Energy flows in patterns, like a heartbeat. Captain, I think whatever is down there is aware. Ilara stepped forward. Awareness is not attack. Humans have faced intelligent systems before, and often we succeed because we think differently. Stay calm. Observe. Adapt. They began exploring carefully, noting mechanisms, strange carvings, and devices that seemed far beyond current science. Rin tried to record data, but the instrument struggled to keep up. The walls pulsed as if reacting to each new movement. Kalen watched the humans with awe. You humans, you are not afraid. Others would have fled long ago. Ilara smiled faintly. Fear slows you down. Humans act despite it. That is why we survive. Hours passed as they mapped the structures. The energy readings grew stronger, forming patterns that seemed to respond specifically to human presence. One of the engineers, a young woman named Talia, noticed a series of levers and switches embedded into the walls. Captain, these controls, they work when we touch them. The Varelians cannot activate them fully, but we can. Ilara stepped closer. Try it, but carefully. Humans often see connections others miss. Talia moved her hand along the levers, and the chamber's energy shifted. Lights pulsed. Sections of the wall moved, revealing a hidden staircase leading further down. The humans' hearts raced, not with fear, but with the thrill of discovery. Kalen gasped. No one has gone that far. For centuries, Ilara nodded. We'll proceed. Carefully. Descending the staircase, they found themselves in a massive cavern, vast enough to house an entire city. Strange machines hovered silently, and the walls shimmered with inscriptions that seemed to tell a story. The humans walked through the cavern, their presence activating mechanisms that had lain dormant for millennia. Rin's eyes widened. Captain, these machines, they're ancient, and they respond to us. It's like they were made for humans. Ilara examined a hovering device that projected holographic images. It is possible, she said, that the galaxy once relied on humans more than we realized. We survive where others falter. Perhaps these structures recognize potential, not species. But humans excel at potential. The deeper they went, the more signs of an ancient civilization appeared. Massive energy conduits ran along the walls, glowing faintly. Strange creatures long extinct were depicted in murals. At the center of the cavern lay a colossal chamber, sealed with an enormous circular door etched with symbols. The energy here was intense, almost palpable. Kalen stepped forward, his voice trembling. This is the heart of the seal. The Forgotten One lies beneath that door. Do not disturb it, or we are lost. Lyra placed a hand on the glowing symbols. Observation first. Humans understand patterns. We will not rush. We will learn what we can. Suddenly, the symbols on the door shifted, glowing brighter as if reacting to her touch. Rin gasped. Captain, the door. It responds to you. Lyra stepped back. Humans often find paths others cannot. That is our strength, but we proceed with care. For hours, the team studied the chamber, noting the flow of energy, the mechanisms, and the patterns in the inscriptions. The Varelians watched silently, awed and fearful. Humans were different, brave, curious, and persistent. Their ability to adapt, think creatively, and act under pressure gave them a unique edge. As the sun set above the planet, casting long shadows into the cavern, the humans gathered near the door. The hum of energy was stronger than ever. Lyra spoke, her voice steady. We have learned much today. We know it is alive, aware and waiting. But humans face challenges with courage, and we do not back down. Tomorrow we continue our study. We prepare for what comes, not with fear, but with knowledge and unity. Kalen nodded slowly. You, humans, may be the ones who can keep the Forgotten One contained. Your presence. It gives us hope, Lyra smiled faintly. Hope is powerful. Humans know that. And when the galaxy has forgotten how to fight, how to survive, hope is what carries us forward. As the humans and Varelians rested for the night, the ground beneath the cavern pulsed subtly. Energy flowed in patterns, responding to human presence. The humans were unaware, but they were being observed, not with malice, but with recognition. Something ancient, hidden, and powerful was awakening, and the galaxy's forgotten secrets were beginning to stir once more. The first part of the mission was complete. Humans had stepped into the unknown, navigated alien ruins, and uncovered signs that no one else could interpret. The story of bravery, intelligence, and resilience was only beginning. Whatever lay beneath Virelia, it would soon understand that humans were unlike any other species in the galaxy. The night grew darker, but the humans' determination shone brighter. They had taken the first steps into a challenge that could reshape their understanding of the universe, and the universe's understanding of humanity. The air in the ancient cavern was thick with energy, a vibration that seemed almost alive. Captain Lyra Drayton and her team of humans had spent the entire day exploring the labyrinth of alien machines and glowing symbols. Every step revealed patterns, mechanisms, and secrets that had lain dormant for centuries. Yet as the sun disappeared behind Varelia's twin moons, a sense of unease settled over the team. Captain, Lieutenant Rin said, scanning the massive circular door at the heart of the chamber. The energy readings, they're changing. Slowly at first, then more rapidly. Something is stirring. Lyra approached the door cautiously. She placed her hand on one of the glowing symbols. Humans often awaken things by curiosity alone, she said softly. We need to observe, not provoke. But sometimes observation is enough. Talia, the young engineer, knelt beside the door, running her instruments along the symbols. Captain, the energy responds specifically to humans. Our presence, it's like a key. I don't think this was meant to be opened by anyone else. Kalen, the Varelian guide, stepped back, his blue skin shimmering faintly in the dim light. No, do not touch it. We were warned eons ago. Never awaken the Forgotten One. The galaxy sealed it away for a reason. Lyra's eyes met Kalen's. We did not awaken it yet, Kalen, but it may already be aware of us. Awareness does not mean attack. She turned to Rin and Talia. We need to document everything, prepare for any scenario, and be ready to act if necessary. Humans thrive where others freeze. That is why we are here. For hours, the team observed the door and the surrounding mechanisms. The symbols pulsed faintly, almost in a rhythm, as if reacting to the humans' presence. Then, without warning, the ground beneath them shuddered. A low hum grew into a deep resonance that vibrated through the cavern walls. Rin gripped the railing of a nearby platform. Captain, it's moving. Something is beneath us. Waking. Ilara's face hardened with determination. Stay calm. Humans act under pressure. That is our strength. Suddenly, a deep rumble echoed through the chamber. The massive circular door shivered and faint cracks appeared along its edges. Dust fell from the ceiling and the floor trembled beneath their feet. Kalen cried out, "The seal! You have disturbed it. The Forgotten One awakens." The humans backed away slightly, giving space to the door. The energy from the symbols intensified, casting a brilliant glow across the chamber. Strange patterns appeared in the air, almost like images forming from light itself. The humans watched, fascinated and cautious. "It's immense," Rin whispered. "Whatever's down there, it's alive. And it's aware of us." Ilara's mind raced. Humans had faced dangerous creatures, alien war machines, and rogue AI before. But this was different. This was ancient, powerful, and intelligent beyond measure. "We adapt, we analyze, we think. That is what humans do best," she said firmly. As the energy surged, the floor beneath the door began to shift. The humans could see faint outlines of something enormous coiled beneath the surface. It moved slowly, deliberately, like a giant creature waking from a centuries-long slumber. Kalen stepped back, trembling. "I warned you," he said. "The galaxy tried to forget it, but it remembers us." Ilara studied the energy patterns, noticing that the pulsing seemed to respond to thought and action. "It's intelligent," she said. "Not mindless. We must approach carefully, observe patterns, anticipate behavior. Humans succeed because we do not panic." Talia adjusted her instruments. "Captain, its energy is immense. The readings are off any scale we have seen. If it moves too quickly, the cavern could collapse. Or worse," Ilara nodded. "Then we prepare. Humans think differently than machines, differently than aliens. We see opportunities where others see danger. That is how we survive." Suddenly, a massive shockwave rippled through the chamber. Dust and small debris fell from the ceiling. The humans stumbled but held their ground. The door cracked further and a beam of pure energy shot upward, illuminating the cavern in blinding light. Rin shouted over the roar, "Captain, it's trying to break free." Ilara's eyes narrowed. "No, it's testing us. Humans understand pressure. We remain calm. We adapt." She signaled Talia and the engineers to activate containment protocols, using the ancient machines they had studied earlier. The Varelians watched, awe and fear mixing in their expressions. The energy from the symbols surged toward the humans, but instead of attacking, it formed intricate patterns in the air. The humans realized that the entity was communicating, not with words, but through energy. The symbols pulsed faster when humans approached certain areas, slowed when they stepped back, and shifted when they touched specific mechanisms. "It's testing us," Talia said, voice trembling. "Trying to understand, maybe even judge us." Ilara nodded. "Humans are unique in the galaxy because we think, adapt, and cooperate. This entity may be ancient, powerful, but it has never met humans like us before." The chamber shook again, stronger this time. Debris fell and the floor cracked beneath them. Kalen yelled, "Get back! You don't understand what you are facing." Ilara raised her voice. "We understand enough. Humans survive where others fail. We will face it, not with brute force, but with strategy, observation, and cooperation." Working together, the humans and a few brave Varelians activated ancient mechanisms. Crystals and devices glowed with energy, forming barriers and channels around the awakening entity. The patterns in the air pulsed faster, almost like a heartbeat. The humans realized that the energy responded to their actions and decisions, as if the entity was learning from them. Rin shouted, "Captain, it's massive. We can't fight it physically." Ilara's voice was calm, firm, and resolute. "Then we outthink it. That is what humans do: observe, adapt, work together. We find weaknesses, exploit patterns, and act where others hesitate." The chamber trembled again. From the pit, a shadow emerged, enormous, coiled, and glowing faintly with energy. Its size was beyond comprehension, its form shifting as if made of light and substance at the same time. The humans could feel its awareness, its intelligence, its curiosity. It was not attacking. Yet Kalen trembled. It is alive. It sees you." Ilara stepped forward slightly, raising her hand. "We are not your enemies. Humans act to protect, to survive, to understand. That is our nature. If you learn this, perhaps we can coexist, or at least delay destruction long enough to find a solution." The entity shifted, and the energy patterns around the chamber responded. Cracks in the walls seemed to heal, or at least stabilize. The vibrations slowed slightly, and the humans realized that their calmness, focus, and coordination had an effect. Talia whispered, "Captain, it's communicating. Not with words, but awareness. It responds to our choices, our actions. Lyra smiled faintly. Humans are unpredictable, cooperative, and resilient. That is our gift. That is why the galaxy remembers us differently than others. This is why we succeed where others fail. The humans continued to move strategically, activating more mechanisms and observing energy flows. Slowly, the entity's movements became less chaotic. The patterns in the air stabilized. The floor stopped shaking violently. For now, at least, the awakening had been managed, not defeated but understood. Kalen stepped closer, awe shining in his eyes. Humans, you have calmed it. None of us. We could not do this. You are different, Lyra nodded. Different is what the galaxy needs. We are not strongest in force, but strongest in courage, creativity, and teamwork. That is humanity's way. As night fell on the surface of Virelia, the cavern glowed with soft energy. The Forgotten One remained beneath, massive and intelligent, but aware of the humans' presence and their methods. For the first time in eons, it paused, not in anger, but in recognition. Lyra turned to her team. We have survived the first encounter. We have observed, adapted, and acted. Tomorrow we continue. We learn more, prepare better. Humans thrive in impossible situations. That is our strength. The Virelians watched in awe, understanding for the first time why humans had earned their reputation across the stars. Courage, ingenuity, and cooperation were qualities the galaxy had underestimated. The humans' presence was not just help, it was hope. A spark that even the oldest and most powerful forces had never seen. The night grew quiet in the cavern, but the air still pulsed faintly with energy. The entity below had awakened, but it was not hostile, not yet. The humans had proven themselves, and the galaxy's forgotten secret was beginning to recognize their worth. Lyra glanced at her team. We are ready. Whatever comes next, we face it together. Humans do not give up. We survive, we adapt, and we protect those who cannot protect themselves. The first true test had ended, but the real challenge was only beginning. The Forgotten One had awakened, and the humans had proven that their strength was not in power but in courage, intelligence, and the ability to act when others would falter. And deep beneath Virelia, something ancient, vast, and intelligent had noticed them, and perhaps, for the first time, had begun to respect them. The cavern beneath Virelia was alive with energy. The ground still pulsed with the presence of the Forgotten One, the ancient entity that had stirred from its slumber. Captain Alara Drayton and her team of humans had learned to read its movements, to anticipate its responses, and to act with precision. Yet nothing could have fully prepared them for the scale of the threat as it began to rise. Captain, Lieutenant Rin said, scanning the cavern with worry etched on his face. It's moving upward. The energy readings are off the charts. If it reaches the surface, the city, everything could be destroyed. Ilara's jaw tightened. Then we make sure it doesn't reach the surface. Humans survive where others fail because we adapt. Gather the team. We need to act, strategically, carefully, and decisively. The humans moved quickly, setting up temporary control points along the cavern walls. Talia and the engineers activated the ancient mechanisms they had studied, using the Virelian devices to create barriers and channels of energy. The cavern pulsed, but now it pulsed in rhythm with their efforts, as if responding to human coordination. Kalen watched with wide eyes. I cannot believe what I am seeing. Humans, you are doing what none of us could. Lyra glanced at him. We do what must be done. Humans see solutions where others see only danger. That is why we survive. That is why we succeed. The Forgotten One moved closer to the surface, its massive form coiling and shifting, glowing with an intensity that made the air shimmer. Dust fell from the cavern ceiling as the vibrations increased. Rin shouted over the roar, Captain, it's too powerful! The barriers alone cannot hold it. Lyra remained calm. Then we think. Humans excel because we do not rush blindly. We analyze, we adapt, we find patterns, observe its movements, learn its rhythm. That is our advantage. Using the instruments and the energy patterns in the cavern, Talia identified a weak point in the entity's approach. Captain, it avoids concentrated energy nodes in the structure. If we can lure it toward the central conduits, we might control its path. Lyra nodded. Good. Then that is what we do. Humans survive impossible odds by using brains more than brawn. Set the traps, guide it, and stay calm. Courage is contagious, let's show it now. They began their plan. Using the cavern's ancient mechanisms, the humans redirected energy flows, forming channels that guided the Forgotten One's movements. The entity pulsed with awareness, testing their actions, but humans were unpredictable. Each decision, each adjustment, demonstrated creativity and cooperation that the centuries-old being had never encountered. Kalen watched in awe. It responds, "To you, humans, you are remarkable." Lyra gave no reply, focusing on the task at hand. "We must coordinate. Talia, Rin, focus on stabilizing the energy conduits. Keep the entity moving along our path." The entity's massive form shifted faster now, coiling through the cavern like a living storm. Its awareness was undeniable, almost intelligent. It seemed to anticipate simple traps, but humans adapted quickly, using observation and improvisation. Each pulse of energy became a conversation, a dance of intellect, patience, and courage. Rin shouted, "Captain, it's trying to break the barrier. If it succeeds, the surface will be destroyed." Lyra raised her hand. "We adapt. Humans never give up. Use the auxiliary conduits. Combine the energy flows. Guide it to the central nexus." With precision, the humans activated the last set of mechanisms. Brilliant beams of energy formed a web that coiled and twisted around the entity, constraining its movement. The Forgotten One struggled, testing the limits of the barriers, but the humans anticipated each move, adjusting instantly. Kalen gasped. "It is contained? For now, humans. You're extraordinary." Lyra turned to her team, determination burning in her eyes. "This is why humans survive. Courage is not reckless, it is calculated. We think, we observe, we act. This is the human edge." Despite their success, the entity continued to pulse with immense power. Every vibration reminded the humans that it was alive, intelligent, and vast. Yet they did not panic. Humans thrived under pressure, and pressure revealed creativity. Talia studied the energy patterns. "Captain, if we synchronize the conduits and focus our energy, we can subdue it temporarily. We cannot destroy it, but we can." "Hold it," Lyra nodded. "Then that is what we do. Humans act when others freeze. Courage, intellect, and teamwork are our tools." The team worked tirelessly, directing beams of energy, adjusting conduits, and maintaining focus. Sweat dripped from their brows and the cavern trembled violently. But they did not falter. Humans were unpredictable in their creativity, precise in their coordination, and unwavering in their determination. The entity, massive and ancient, struggled against the energy web. Its movements became slower, more deliberate, as if studying the humans who had dared to face it. Every pulse of energy, every shift of light seemed to acknowledge their courage and intelligence. Rin whispered, "Captain, it's observing us. It's almost respecting us." Lyra's lips curved in a faint smile. "Humans earn respect not by strength alone, but by courage, ingenuity, and selflessness. That is our way." Kalen, still watching, muttered, I never thought I would see this. Humans, you do what no other species could. You survive because you are not afraid to act, to think, to fight with your mind." Hours passed as the humans maintained the energy web. The Forgotten One's struggles grew weaker, not because it was defeated, but because it adapted to the humans' unpredictable strategy. Humans thrived in uncertainty, and this ancient being had never encountered such adaptive thinking. Finally, the entity coiled into a position that minimized its energy output, stabilizing the cavern. The vibrations lessened and the air grew calmer. The humans had not destroyed it, nor had they subdued it permanently, but they had proven something far more important. They could survive, even against an ancient force that the galaxy feared. Lyra turned to her team, voice steady and commanding. "We have held it, not with brute force, but with strategy, courage, and human ingenuity. The galaxy remembers us not because we are strongest, but because we act where others hesitate." Kalen stepped forward, his blue skin shimmering in the soft energy glow. "Humans, you are extraordinary. You did what none of us could. The Forgotten One. It recognizes you. Perhaps for the first time in eons, it understands that humans are different." Lyra nodded. "Different, yes. That is why we survive. That is why we protect others. That is why we thrive in challenges that others cannot face." The humans took a moment to rest, their bodies exhausted but their spirits unbroken. The Varelians gathered around, awe and gratitude shining in their eyes. Humans had not only helped contain the entity, But they had also inspired hope that survival, ingenuity, and courage could overcome even the oldest and most powerful threats. As the twin moons of Virelia cast a soft glow into the cavern, the humans prepared for the next stage. The Forgotten One was contained for now, but it remained a living, intelligent, and massive presence beneath the surface. Their task was far from complete. Lyra addressed her team. "This is what humans do. We survive, we adapt, and we protect. We face the impossible and find solutions where others see only despair. That is our strength. That is our edge. Tomorrow we learn more and we continue our work. Together." The Virelians whispered among themselves, still in awe. "Humans, they are unlike any being in the galaxy. They act when others flee, think when others panic, and hope when all seems lost." Lyra smiled faintly, gazing at the enormous, coiled figure below. "The galaxy may have forgotten it, but we will not. We face it, we understand it, and we survive. That is the human way." The night in the cavern was quiet now, filled with anticipation. The humans had proven themselves against an entity that had terrified civilizations for centuries. The Forgotten One had awakened, but it had also acknowledged the humans' presence and abilities. Lyra looked at her team, proud yet determined. "Rest now, but stay vigilant. Humans never give up. We adapt, we think, and we act. Tomorrow we continue. The challenge is not over, and the galaxy is watching. But humans are ready." As the team settled into makeshift camps within the cavern, the entity remained below, massive and intelligent, coiled yet aware. The humans had demonstrated the unique qualities that made them remarkable: courage, adaptability, and creativity. For the first time in centuries, the Forgotten One recognized a species capable of thinking differently, acting decisively, and surviving against impossible odds, and above all, humanity had proven that true strength was not in sheer power, but in ingenuity, cooperation, and the unwavering courage to face the unknown.